Today I'm going to be reacting to Game Theory's video on Subliminal. It is an older video, but I haven't seen it yet, and since I've been playing and streaming a lot of Subliminal, I've decided to watch it, because why not? So, in case I ever have something to bring up, like just a picture or clip or something like that, then I'm able to bring that up in editing, so that's why I decided to just record it and do an actual video rather than do it live, so...
Are you suppressing trauma?
No.
Worried you can't move on and be happy?
No.
Scared it will haunt you forever?
No.
Concerned that if you don't, you'll be hunted down by a monstrous version of your favorite childhood mascot and brutally murdered over and over again?
No.
No? Just me? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, the show that recalls the joyful memory of you subscribing. It's always nice to read.
Is that Verity?
Having a bad day. It can be nice to reminisce of simpler times. Like when my brother and I would go and play video games all day.
Like 5 and 35.
No responsibilities, nothing. But for some people, the past can bring up some less enjoyable memories, to the point that even the good memories are tainted by negative emotions. That, my friends, is the premise of the new indie horror game, Subliminal. A
forgot it was
backwards-inspired
indie.
psychological horror game where you travel through memories to try and avoid the looming feelings of despair and loneliness. As far as mascot horror games go, Subliminal has a lot of the classic tropes, like goo, creepy mascot, nostalgic locations, you know, the usual stuff. But much like I was talking about in our meta mascot horror video,
I think I watched that a while
this
ago.
game has got a number of things going for it that do separate it from others we've seen before. For starters, the premise is just fascinating. It combines things like the Stanley Parable.
Such a good game. I love Stanley Parable.
But rather than exploring an actual location, we're diving into the mind of our player character.
Yeah.
These places are from their memories, which means things can twist, evolve, change.
What is that?
We can't trust what we're seeing because once we turn around, it might be gone. It also has some of the most impressive graphics I've seen in a mascot horror game.
It's
Plus,
so good.
There's puzzles. Now, mascot horror games are not strangers to puzzles. I mean, that was one of the things I liked about Poppy Playtime to begin with. But these puzzles are cranked up to 11. Some have said these are too challenging.
Yes.
They may not be wrong, but hey.
I've heard a lot of hate about how the puzzles are, like, way too difficult. Like, I'm pretty sure I watched Queso's playthrough a while back, and yeah, he's struggled really hard on them. So, people complaining about the difficulty of the puzzles, that's really valid.
I'll take it over another Simon Says puzzle. Finally, there's the story. One complaint I've seen online is that there's barely any plot or lore to this game. And that's true if you don't study all the details.
Yeah, this is what I wanted. I don't know how detailed they're gonna get into it, because I obviously haven't seen it yet, but I want to know who Lily is. Are they like a little sister, a friend, a daughter? Like, am I an adult at this point? When the flashbacks happen, who's that person? Who is he? Who's Lily? And there's a red scarf that comes up all the time. I need to know. I really hope they go over this, because I want to know these details. The hidden story kind of thing.
Explore every hidden pathway and the multiple endings. If you do that, and throw in a bit of psychology along the way, there is a ton of lore that explains the true story of the game, what our character is going through, and what the best method is to help them feel joy again. And while the answer may not feel like the best approach, it's the only way to put an end to the trauma. So lie down in this chair, theorists, as we take a journey through the deep memories hiding in Subliminal. I'm just gonna place this here. Yeah, and let's see if this brings up any feelings or memories, shall we?
Oh, my computer sucks.
The game starts with you in an empty space with a voice speaking to you.
I am your conscious.
W narrator.
Your name is Caleb, and this vast void of nothingness that we're currently floating in is your mind.
Conscience describes Caleb's mind.
I wish they didn't add a filter over it, because it makes the graphics look way worse, but they're obviously... If you guys have seen my streams, hopefully the quality is good enough to see that the graphics are insane. Because I think the live stream is absolutely, like, dookie quality, but the actual videos, like, afterwards, once it processes, it's better. I believe.
It's a bit gummed up with negative emotions, and so the brain is in maintenance mode. To help, Caleb needs to bring more joy to the surface by recalling memories and transporting them there. This allows him to travel to a water park, a bounce house, and a play place. Places full of joy, and absolutely nothing scary.
Oh, yeah, right? Nothing.
Well, not exactly. While Caleb tries to recall these memories, he is continually distracted, appearing in empty backroom-style hallways and corridors and your dingy childhood home. home. And within these joyful memories, you are chased by a horrifying monster. By looking at the Steam achievements, we can tell that this guy's name is Smile.
But no, it's
clearly it
Labubu.
doesn't exactly make him any less terrifying. Don't worry though,
It's
Conscience is
Labubu.
here with Caleb to help guide him to the right path, reminding him that Smile is not really real and so should just be ignored. Conscience wants to help you remove the gunk from the joyful memories and load up your memory meter so that you can feel happy once again. That is the main goal of the game. But if you pay attention to the things Conscience says and the paths we are told not to go down, it's clear what's really going on. The very first room you transport to is your childhood basement. It doesn't look great and
Our memories here and their corresponding feelings of loneliness,
Anxiety,
and
soul-crushing guilt
are rather
inconvenient.
Conscience doesn't want us to be here, and whatever is in here is apparently not good for Caleb to remember. The same thing happens later when you try and go into a door labeled Deep Storage.
Caleb, please, no, not there. This isn't where we need to go.
But if you ignore Conscience and go through the door, you can see black streaks across the floor. And the further into Deep Storage you go, the more of this black goo there is.
Oh, rotten. There's no real danger to it, of course, but it is unfortunately quite unpleasant.
Foreshadowing.
Not the kind of thing that
No
we
real
try
danger
stop.
to it, of
Black goo
course.
seems to be Caleb's negative emotions that Conscience wants to remove so that
So in the picture, he's a kid. Does Game Theory think that he's a kid? I'm sorry I don't know his real name, but does he think he's an actual kid? Because the icon he uses looks like a kid.
he can be filled with joy again. The fact that Deep Storage has it all over the walls tells us that there's something in here that Conscience wants Caleb to forget. Something deep in the recesses of Caleb's mind that is causing his mind
Lily, please.
to be gone up. And after our first encounter with Smile, Conscience gives us a clue as to what that might be. After running into Smile in the play place, we get distracted and go on a bit of a detour. Once we get back on track, Conscience addresses the issue with
Holy
Smile.
GD
These
reference.
intrusive thoughts and their accompanying feelings of loneliness, guilt, and existential dread are in fact not real and bear no truth or substance whatsoever.
This is the same thing Conscience said when Caleb recalled the memory of his childhood basement, his feelings of guilt and loneliness. This is what has Caleb's brain going into maintenance mode. Something in Caleb's past, in his deep memory, is affecting his mental state. His trauma has manifested in Smile, and every memory is now tainted by the trauma that haunts him. Which is why Conscience is trying to make you ignore Smile, to not go down the paths and bring up these traumatic memories, and to try and focus on the joyful ones. Conscience is healing Caleb of childhood trauma. Studies have found that by
But
recording
what
all the
trauma?
positive memories, it lowered cortisol levels, reduced stress, and improved mood if you were feeling sad. However, while this sounds like a good idea in theory, in psychology theory, the problem is brains are complex, and the memories of joy that Caleb has at the water park, play place, and bounce house are not isolated just as joy. Memories are accompanied
There wasn't
by
even much
context.
bounce house
How
anyways.
old Caleb might have been. Why was he
Yeah.
there, and who was he there with?
Lily.
This brings those memories and the ones attached to them, good or bad, to our mind as well. But there is some hope for this method of dealing with trauma. The brain is able to train itself to focus on the positive parts of a negative memory, allowing the brain to essentially update the emotional tone of that memory. This can be done by deliberately ignoring the negative parts of the memory, which is exactly what Conscience is trying to get Caleb to do. When Smile appears, we are told to just ignore it. And if you don't look directly at Smile in the play place, they disappear and a different
Yeah.
path is opened up. Studies even show that the prefrontal cortex can send stop signals to reduce hippocampal retrieval.
I
Essentially, our
understand
brains can suppress
none of this.
unwanted memories so much that we reduce the ability to even retrieve them. This is what is going on in Deep Storage. Caleb has managed to push down this trauma into parts of his mind where he can't easily retrieve it. And Conscience wants to keep it that way by ignoring it and focusing on the
Did Caleb do it, or did the conscious do it? I fixed it all! You know? Because he always says that the conscience says that he did everything, so did Caleb actually do anything, or is Caleb just kind of there, you know?
We are doing this update, removing the painful parts. I just want to be happy. But as we see, no matter how hard they try to suppress it, Caleb keeps recalling these negative memories. So perhaps this approach of avoidance, while documented as possibly working, may not be the best approach for dealing with Caleb's specific trauma. Thankfully, Caleb does explore other options throughout the game, and when he does, we see how each one leads to different results regardless.
But so he's mentioning how if you don't go to the bad way, then now you're going to the good way, and it shows a, oh yeah, fun arcade machine, but if you really know that that's literally the bad route. You stare at the monster, you know? That's the dark version of the maintenance halls or whatever. That's where you play this game. So I know that's not what he's talking about, but I just find it funny how... Oh yeah, the good parts, while you chose to do the bad thing here.
In his mental health. Another set of studies show that by fixating and ruminating on negative traumatic experiences, it can exaggerate though and cause anxiety and guilt to worsen. We see this happen in the ending titled Rotten. We've established that this muck is the negative memories and the trauma that plagues Caleb's joy-filled moments, which is why conscience advises us to avoid following the paths covered with it. But if you go full Stanley Parable, ignore conscience, and go down one of these routes, Caleb uses a TV to transport himself back to his childhood home. And as you explore, Smile is lurking behind the door, triggering an intense game where intrusive thoughts are frantically knocking on the doors around the house. It becomes progressively harder to keep all the doors closed and keep the lights on. More black goo appears and conscience gets more aggressive towards you.
No! What are you doing? Turn the TV off! You're ruining it!
But eventually, the knocking stops and the path down the hall is opened. As you go through the door, you enter a void with nothing.
Wait, aren't there there's a series of images?
You hear a knock. The door
Wait, yeah.
You catch a glimpse of a tape recorder of a man and a few other short moments. This is what happens if Caleb chooses to dwell on the trauma. He gets to the point where all he can think about is that trauma, exactly like the studies showed. The CRT TV, which leads Caleb here, even has the word rotten written on the back of it. But as we've seen, recalling joyful memories isn't working either. The brain is just too complex and it's hard to separate the negative triggers from a memory, and so you might get led down a darker route. Each memory is tainted with a reminder of Caleb's trauma, and as he has proven, he struggles to focus on the good and dwells on the bad, which leads to another approach Caleb can take in the game. Across the game, there are these large levers labeled erase.
Oh.
Doing so hurts conscience.
No! Caleb!
I can see you're curious, but please, let's not interact with any more mysterious...
You gonna show the
In
others?
addition to that, it
Nah.
removes certain items from the room. Kids' toys, inflatable items, that sort of thing. It seems like these items are what Caleb associates.
In my last stream, I was trying to get into the lazy river, and I just realized maybe if it removes the items when you when you hit the erase switch in the waterworks, maybe that removes some of the barriers, and you can go into the into the lazy river. Hold up, did I figure it out? Am I not Shakespeare, Einstein over here?
Trauma, and so he's
Oh my
trying to
gosh.
suppress the emotions so aggressively that they are essentially erased from his memory. People with PTSD or other traumatic experiences have been known to do this. Rather than ignoring the trauma, Caleb is trying to erase it entirely. That sounds like a good idea, right? But conscience seems to think otherwise. Because although this feels like the only way to remove the pain, there can be larger knock-on effects. If you find all the levers in the game, you end up walking down a storage room hall, and each door has a year on it. If we've been slowly erasing trauma-triggering memories, I would bet money that 2016 is the year the trauma event occurred. But at the end of the hall is a large room with many screens and a large erase lever. Conscience tries to convince you not to pull it, but when you do...
Wait, no, not everything. Please, Caleb, this isn't what I meant. I can find another way. I can. Please, no.
And the screen goes black. Some studies have found that for people...
Pretty sure it also closes your game, which I find funny.
Caleb, this isn't what I meant. I can find another way. I can. Please, no.
Oh.
who suffer from PTSD, their general memory has been affected by their desire to suppress the negative ones. Remember, the brain is complex and memories are intertwined. One is associated with another, and by suppressing one, you may suppress all the others associated with it, resulting in long-term memory issues and even amnesia. Caleb's attempt to forget the trauma is leading to him losing his entire memory. So that option is a bust too, but that leaves us with one more ending. Into the pit. This ending.
He made the FNAF reference. This is... I forgot his name. Not Gregory, whatever. That's the guy from Into the Pit, the FNAF one.
If you
Oh
play
my
the game
gosh.
regularly, following Conscience's advice, and don't venture down any secret paths. After continually becoming distracted by Smile, Conscience decides the only way to stop this distraction is to dispose of it completely. You send Smile down a shaft, and now you can return to the joyful memories.
Don't forget the
and
shattered
feel
tooth.
happy. But when you open the door, it's bricked up. not like that. Get your mind out of the
Okay,
anyway,
bro.
Conscience gets pretty mad at this point.
No. This can't be right. I've done...
But that actually makes sense, yeah. Hold on, what are you saying? Yeah, if you erase... Trying to get rid of the bad memories also messes with the good ones? If you just got rid of PTSD as a whole, if that's what we're going to think of Smile as, then the brick wall will... that's what's... He's also blocking off the good memories of the bounce house, so maybe that's why the bricks are there.
Right.
I know that's obvious, but I'm doing a commentary video, so I'm going to do commentary.
I've corrected everything you've messed up.
Every mistake, every misdirection, every distraction you've entertained, I fixed it all. Why do you insist on defying me?
We're just trying our best, man. While Conscience tries to figure out a way back to the joy-filled memories, Caleb goes his own way, wading through webs of black goo until he
So
finds
gross.
himself in a large space with conveyor belts everywhere and fragments.
And the recording's probably low quality, but so is the video, so...
Other memories, chairs, wardrobes, washing machines, TVs. As Caleb goes through here, we hear Conscience in the distance yelling. But as Caleb explores deeper, Smile appears, and the chase sequence ends with them catching Caleb and attacking. Now, this ending might seem vague, but there is a lot to unpack here, starting with the brick wall. Despite Conscience being in charge here, there seems to be another force at play, blocking the path Conscience is so dead set on following. And in the mind, there is something that can take executive control without the conscience being aware, and that is the unconscious. The unconscious mind consists of mental processes occurring outside of awareness. It's a place where random things are recalled in an unorganized manner, known as implicit memory.
Random things are recalled in an unorganized manner. You know, that sounds a lot like the back rooms. No, I'm kidding.
Stuff just gets recalled involuntarily when met with certain stimuli. In fact, 95% of our brain is driven by the unconscious mind.
Yeah.
The space that we travel to is littered with random items on conveyor belts from other
I never
memories,
thought about that.
trees from the plate place, a couch from the house, and a water slide. It's not organized in a space, it's just scattered everywhere. This is the unconscious part of Caleb's mind, and that is what is blocking the way to the good memories. And it's why Smile is still down there.
Why does he look jacked? Like, I know, yeah, he's like a super evil monster and everything, but like, but why does he look like, bro?
Dispose of them. Memories can't just be easily erased as they are in the game. What really happens is the more we suppress a memory, the memory becomes less consciously available, but it still leaves traces that influence thought, emotion, or later perception within the unconscious mind. So when we disposed of Smile, they weren't gone completely, but have ended up in the unconscious. The unconscious mind is taking control and forcing Caleb to access the suppressed trauma and address it head on. But that can't end well, right? Choosing to dwell on the trauma ended up making things worse in the rotten ending, and that's true. But there's a nuance between this approach and
The arcade. The
In
arcade.
the rotten ending, Caleb is ruminating on the trauma. Ruminating is described as deeply thinking about something, but into the pits
Ooh,
is
new
different.
word.
So this approach is something doctors actually do with trauma victims. Rather than teaching them to forget trauma, knowing that may never happen, they use exposure-based therapies. You see, avoidance helps keep trauma alive, but confronting it in a way that doesn't dwell on the feelings surrounding the trauma can actually heal the person's mental health. Scientists have done this by bringing up patients' deeply suppressed memories so that the trauma can be fully understood and dealt with, rather than only remembering fragments. And the patients that have gone through this method have found that bringing suppressed trauma into memory actually allows them to function better. This is what Caleb is doing in this ending, and there is one piece of evidence that proves definitively that this ending is the canon ending, and that's the load screen. There, you can load up specific save points of the game, and show the path and how different choices lead different ways. The Into the Pit ending is the only ending memory that has an arrow continuing forward towards Chapter 2. The reason this is the...
Oh, wait! I never thought about that either! I'm sorry, this is why he makes such good videos. This is why game theory is awesome, because I never thought about this. I thought that the box is circled.
that has an arrow
Because all of the others are just a path. You can just go there. That's why it's solid. But I thought that this, because it was dotted like the others, that's where an ending was. Okay. That's the rotten ending. That's the arcade ending. But I thought that this was the erase ending, and that is the canon ending. But that makes a lot more sense if that's what's going to continue into Chapter 2. That's what goes on, you know? None of the others are the canon ending. That's not what really happens in the story they've planned out. Wow, okay. Gotta think about that next time.
The only ending memory that has an arrow continuing forward towards Chapter 2. And the reason this is the only way to continue the game is because it's the only way Caleb can truly move on and feel joy by facing trauma.
But what about the arcade ending? Is he gonna go over that? Because that, I would say that's the quote-unquote good ending, you know? He literally just found another joy-filled memory on his own and just, like, low-key embraced it, you know? It's an arcade, it's fun. You literally complete the ending by walking into the arcade. So, wonder if he's going to go over that. And I don't think he's going to go over Lily, because we're so close to being done.
Back suppressed memories and dealing with it. But I have one last surprise for you theorists, because despite all this analysis, we still don't know what Caleb's trauma is. We've seen black goo and scary monsters. It's
Lily
related to his childhood, and we know it took place sometime in 2016. But other than that, it's
we
just
do?
vague.
Why? Huh? Did I miss something? Because he mentioned it earlier with the doors, but I don't remember him. Why? How do you know it's 2016, huh?
However, I'm certain that we can figure it out thanks to small fragments in each location, starting with the first room, your childhood basement.
Okay, he's probably going to go over it.
Spell out your name, but there are some more red letters around the room. Putting them on the fridge helps to spell the name Lily, which makes black goo appear all over the inside of the fridge. So Lily is likely the source of the trauma. But Conscience said this room is associated with loneliness. If Lily is part of this room, which we can see from the blackboard that says C and L, Caleb and Lily, she was probably another child in our lives, a sister, maybe. Throughout the game, we see...
Okay, yeah. That makes a lot more sense. Sister instead of daughter. Because, yeah, if it is trauma, then that doesn't necessarily mean it happened recently. So that does make a lot of sense that, yeah, if it's like a sister from back then. Because we have the scarves, we have her name written everywhere, but what happened to her? Like, is he gonna find out?
Two silhouettes of children running around. This is Caleb and Lily. But these feelings of loneliness must be because she is no longer here. If you go through the deep storage room, you'll still end up at the play place. But there is a noticeable difference in something Conscience says. When you meet a balloon called Walter, he is described as
an integral and fundamental part of our childhood. In a moment,
sorry, I don't know why I did that. He's still here.
You get to actually hold him again.
But this reaction changes if you travel through deep storage and begin to remember your traumatic memories. Now, when meeting Walter, Conscience says...
You get to actually hold her.
What?
Excuse me. You get to actually hold her.
Hold her?
Excuse me. Let's move on.
Walter isn't just a representation of our joy, it also represents Lily. Every time we see red stuff,
Lily's scarves are red and Walter is red, so, huh?
It has to do with Lily. Back in deep storage, you find a door with red text over it that says Lily. Go into the room and you'll be thrown out, only to hear a girl crying, and a TV is thrown out of the room too. All of the memories Conscience wants Caleb to avoid.
Does the TV light up and you have to, like, look at it or anything, or is it just a TV? Because I know there's a different one where, like, a bunch of people are yelling the deeper you go, because the deeper storage is an elevator.
We end up having something to do with this girl, Lily. She is the reason our mind is gummed up. At first, I figured Lily has died by some evil force, and Caleb is grieving the loss, because, you know, it's an indie horror.
I'm gonna try and predict it. Maybe the parents are, like, divorced or something like that, and that's why the yelling is actually, like, arguing or whatever. Then they have to, like, go separate ways, and he's, like, lonely now because of a divorce. Maybe.
But there are some other clues that suggest something else is going on here. The first is, once again, in deep storage. When you exit the elevator, there's a loud banging on the door. What did you do. This suggests Caleb is responsible for the trauma he's feeling, and Conscience confirms this when we enter our basements.
Our memories here, and their corresponding feelings of loneliness, anxiety, and soul-crushing guilt, are rather inconvenient.
He says soul-crushing guilt, and as we
Guilt.
already established, this is where Caleb and Lily were together. Based on how deep this trauma goes, Lily is likely dead, but it is Caleb that is responsible for it, or at least he believes.
What? Did Caleb kill Lily? Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
This is the root of Caleb's trauma, and the reason he can't escape it is because Lily was such an important part of his childhood, and it was his fault this happened. We even know where it happened thanks to Smile. We first encounter Smile in the play place, and when we do, Conscience reminds us
These intrusive thoughts and their accompanying feelings of loneliness, guilt, and existential dread are in fact not real.
Smile is also associated with Caleb's feelings of guilt. But if you look around the play place and the bounce house, you will find pictures of something else. A cuddly character with a big smile. This is the actual Smile character. But Caleb's mind has twisted it into a more monstrous version because it's here that the Lily incident occurred. While other memories that remind Caleb of Lily have muck in them, the play place has a literal monster of guilt manifested, which is why Smile only appears in the play place and the bounce house. Something happened here in 2016. Maybe.
What do you mean only appears in the bounce house and the play place? He appears in the rotten ending, and he appears in the canon ending, and, probably more. I don't know. But yeah, I guess he did appear then, that makes sense.
Caleb and her got into a fight. Maybe he pushed Lily too hard and she fell. Admittedly, that's conjecture.
What the hell? Oh my god!
Admittedly, that's conjecture. The specifics are unclear. But what I am sure about is that even if he meant to push her or even hurt her, he didn't mean for her to lose her life because of it.
Are you sure?
I'm sure we'll get to learn all about that as we dive deeper into Caleb's unconscious mind in Chapter 2. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory! Thanks for watching. World premiere on...
What? Okay, I'm so glad he went over Lily, though. I was gonna have a heart attack. Like, I was going to scream if he did not mention Lily at all, if he just went over the game. Killed Lily? When he said manifested the guilt, the guilt is a manifestation, big word. If the monster is literally just pure guilt, that does make sense. I just thought that the narrator was just using big words. Just bad trauma, just in general, bad memories. But no, it's like guilt, you know? You're guilty about something, you did something. So Lily was most likely a sister, because obviously, yeah, it's the deeper trauma, it's the childhood trauma. That does explain a lot of stuff, though, honestly. Like, that explains a lot. Because I've never thought about the details on that. There's a reason that they added that. There's a reason they said that. There's a reason these things are all there, you know? It reminds me of, like, Digital Circus, you know? One little detail from episode 3 helps predict the ending from episode 9, you know? It's all there. Everything's a detail. But what will episode, or chapter 2 of Subliminal be about? Because sunk cost, for some reason I keep thinking of water, like a boat, ocean or something. Maybe it's probably, most likely going to go more into detail. Maybe you and the Conscious team up, kind of thing? Become friends, per se? Not sure. Anyways, that was an insane video, honestly, loved that. So, wow. Anyways, I'm gonna just go back to streaming, though. So... I'll see you guys later.